Transformers issue number 4. That's right, folks. We're back at it. This is the first issue to come out post Duke, which is set in the same universe. It's the G.I. Joe book. Not that that means anything. I just think it's important to note that there's already a spin-off for this book and it's 4 issues in. So much fun. Like, this is such a unique story to tell for these characters. It's very adult while still being like, you know, for all ages, where you could probably show this to a lot of younger people and it's not like, oh, this is too graphic. It's just more like mature. And it's taking itself seriously, and there's consequences, and it's kind of about like the last-ditch efforts of war between this planet that's been at war for so long. And that's kind of interesting to explore. You know, so the end of last issue, Optimus got into a big fight with Skywarp, and the people in the town started using their big military guns to fight them, and it wasn't looking good. Everybody got hurt. Optimus lost an arm, Skywarp was beaten badly, and now Starscream shows up, and he's like, where'd they go? You know, like, I gotta go finish this. Where'd they go, Skywarp? He's like, nah, they went like to their base or something. They went to like help the kid. You gotta help me, Starscream. I'm dying here. He's like, you'll be fine. We'll be back for you in a minute. Don't worry. So then we cut to Ratchet, because Optimus Prime is calling him, and he's like, I gotta take this kid somewhere safe. Like, he's hurt. I don't know what to do. So I'm gonna head to like a local hospital. He's getting attacked by Starscream in the process. It's not looking too good for this kid. It looks like Optimus is about to get ran off the road when we see Carly and Cliffjumper show up and just trip Starscream before he can attack Optimus. Then Optimus runs over Starscream, crushing his head, and literally like the tire marks leave a scratch over top of Starscream. So they head to the local hospital, and Optimus is like broken apart, and he's decrepit, and he's just like, you have to take this kid, please. He's been shot. Help this kid. The doctor's like, holy shit, what is happening in front of us? This issue in particular is Daniel Warren Johnson depicting a lot of like the Transformers turning into their like robot counterpart or their vehicle counterpart. We see it multiple times that the characters are like mid-transformation, which is kind of a cool thing to see. It definitely makes it unique, and it looks a little different. It's a little more like crazy Warren Johnson art, which is cool to see. But they're at the hospital, and Starscream comes in, and he's attacking them, and we're having a huge fight just next to the hospital. You're like, whoa, this is terrifying. And then Soundwave shows up, and he starts beating on Optimus, and it's like, it's a losing battle. And you see Starscream's like, no, hold on a second, hold on, before we kick their asses, this is where like the squishy ones come to get fixed when they're hurt. We should like ruin Optimus even more by hurting them. So while we see that Spike is being operated on in the other room, Starscream just opens fire on the hospital, and you're like, holy crap. That's what we're doing in this book? We're getting that intense? Like, that is a terrifying sequence. And we're just blowing up the roof of a building, and then some more Autobots show up because it's time to actually fight. And it's a big fight. And we get a Jazz sequence. So Jazz is one of the Autobots that's, I guess, Ratchet kind of revived. So he's no longer... He was one of the, not deceased ones, but one of the weaker ones. With their limited supply of Energon, he was able to get Jazz back up. So Jazz, he shows up, he's doing some cool moves, shooting some guns. He's doing some real damage to this Jazz. He takes out like Soundwave and Starscream at the same time. You're like, this guy's pretty useful. Why haven't we been using him the whole time? So then it's like a busted up Optimus, it's Ratchet, and it's Jazz, and they're just fighting off against the Decepticons. Well, this hospital is like broken, and they luckily have the upper hand, so they can like get the Decepticons to leave, and they can actually fix everything going on. When we see Spike is stable, he is stable, like he's not dead yet, he is stable, but there's no power to the hospital, and nothing is looking good. And what this book has really done well is show you like Optimus is like a veteran tired of war. You know, he has been through every single thing that's imaginable. He doesn't want any more casualties on his hands, including this young man who has his whole future ahead of him that is now injured because of his war. So what does Optimus do while he's watching this boy die? He takes out his leadership of Matrix, Spark, whatever you want to call it, and just uses it to charge the hospital. Which is so, like, it is so cool. He just says no more death, even if it comes at a price. It's amazing. And he just brings life back to the hospital. Like, everything gets charged up again. They could go check on all the patients. And you're just like, that is sick. That is so cool. It's like an intense moment. I love that so much. It just looks so visually fun. And that is the Optimus Prime of this book. He's a weary hero who's been through hell and back. And you see like that contrast with like the stuff going on in like the G.I. Joe books and the ones coming out. This Optimus Prime already feels like he's tired of the game, but he has a whole game ahead of him, which is just insane to think about. We cut back to the Decepticon base, and Soundwave and Starscream are freaking out. He's like, "We can't win a single battle. You can't fix anything. Everything's bad. We have no more power. Our numbers are dwindled. Everything sucks. This all sucks so much. We need more technology to repair our fallen brothers. Where are we going to get it? We need Cybertronian technology." So what do they do to just like come up with a base of a plan to like fix themselves and bring things back together? Well, they take the remains of Skywarp and they start ripping him apart so they can use his technology and his energon to bring life back to other people. You're like, wow, guys, that's crazy. I like the combined efforts of Starscream and Soundwave. Just, they're not idiots, but you're just like, we have no idea what we're really doing here and nothing is really going our way. It's really interesting. It's a great juxtaposition between the stuff of Optimus and Ratchet, which we'll get to in a minute here. But before that, we cut to see Spike, who is in the hospital watching his son, and he's talking about like how he wanted to bring him to this town so they could get away from all the violence and the war that he felt, the PTSD kicking in. And then he sees out the window that Optimus Prime is sitting outside watching them, and this young kid walks in. He's like, "I heard you're a robot. Can you turn into a truck?" He's like, "I'm a little broken, but yeah, I'll do it." So Optimus turns into a truck. The kid's so excited. That's a fun moment. And then you see Sparky comes out, and he's just like, "I should thank you for saving my kid. Like, what you did, I don't really know what it was, but you gave him a chance." And that's really, really impressive. They start talking about, like, so are you like a god? Do I consider you like a god? Because Sparky's like, "You're a giant metal robot man. You obviously are like a god being." But Optimus is like, I could consider you a god as well. Because of what you did, you might be small, but you are mighty, and you fought for your son, and that's something to commend. And that's really cool. I'm sure we've seen scenes like this in other Transformers books, but from somebody who hasn't really read multiple Transformers comics, it's such a cool thing to see just Optimus being like, "No, you're also the hero here." That's such a cool depiction. This is a really good Optimus Prime. I really like what they're doing with him here. So the scene we had earlier when it was Starscream and Soundwave, we cut that with this scene of Optimus and Ratchet's like, "Look, I know why you did what you did, and I get it, but this is not good. Like, we have no more power. Now we don't even have the Matrix to really help us. It's not looking good. And you saved this kid who was shot and hurt by his own people. You just got us involved in a whole other war, Optimus. Like, this is something we can't really just control anymore. Like, even if we are on a new planet, like, these people aren't our problem." And I like Ratchet being that guy where he has to kind of be, he's going to learn his lesson. I'm sure we're going to see a sequence where he learns he's going to have to become, like a proper gentleman or something, But I really like that. And that scene is just like added with like this layer of depth and just hurt because Jazz shows up and the energy that they had left to keep him going, it's no longer there. So he's like, "Only here for one tune, huh? That kind of sucks." And he passes out and you're like, these people are all dying. That ain't looking good. But we have one solution that might be able to help. And we see that inside Optimus's trailer, they're like, "Well, we could use that and use that to like repower ourselves." Essentially saying we're going to use like our dead brethren to bring us back, which is exactly what Starscream and Soundwave are trying to do. But we actually see Sparky shows up and he's like, "Actually, I have an idea of what could help. Anybody interested?" I think that's really cool. Like it just shows you the different type of leadership between Optimus and Starscream, the different type of leadership between Ratchet and Soundwave. It's really fun. We then cut to a sequence that has Carly talking to Cliffjumper, and she's like, "War sucks. I just lost my dad. Everything's bad." But Cliffjumper's like, "Yeah, I lost my clan because of Starscream. He killed all of my people. Everything sucks. It's hard, but we just have to keep fighting." And I really like that they're doing Cliffjumper instead of Bumblebee in this role. I think it's just more fun. It's like, yeah, we've had Bumblebee exposure for a while, so why can't we see like this young like recruit to this war try to defend this new girl that he's a friend with. That's really cool. So then we see that Optimus shows up to their location, and he's doing a little bit better because he has. Is that Megatron's arm? Is that what we're saying? Because the final couple of pages like depict. We'll get to that in a minute here. So that is Megatron's arm, right? I'm guessing we're gonna have a sequence where like Sparky and them found like a frozen robot, but yeah, that's Megatron's arm because that's the big gun he uses. And then we see that like Starscream's like ripping apart like the fellow Decepticons that are destroyed. He's like, I'm the leader today, tomorrow, and forever. And that's when we see like the frozen tundra of Megatron just like freezing out of like some glacier somewhere, which is a classic Megatron thing to do, I suppose. And I'm like, that's pretty cool. So we're gonna revitalize Megatron. Optimus has his arm and gun. That's so cool. What a fun idea. This book was so cool. Like, it's still sharp artwork. It's so fast and loose, but it's very personal this time around. Actually talking about, like, the hazards of war because we attacked a hospital. Children now got involved in the violence. We are losing more people than we expected, and we're essentially, like, cannibalizing the robots and using their parts to, like, make ourselves stronger, which is intense and scary and freaky stuff. It's kind of impressive to see in a book like this. I don't know. Like, something about that's really cool to see. This is intense, and I'm really digging it. I don't know how long this book's going to go on for. I don't know how many Daniel Warren Johnson's going to do, but I could read a lot of them. They're really fun. So, Transformers issue number 4, I am going to give a 9 out of 10. Now, thank you all for watching this review. Be sure to like and subscribe to the channel. As always, you can check me out on Instagram, TikTok, and Twitter. And of course, I will catch you in the next one. Have fun. Stay safe. Good luck.